What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. It's been back-to-back rallies for Taiwan's 3 presidential candidates, and with just a few weekends left until Election Day, parties are kicking their campaigns into high gear. Joyce Zhang reports.
High spirits in Taiwan this Christmas weekend, not for the holidays, but the pivotal 3-way race for the country's next head of state. That's as the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP's president, Tsai Ing-wen, is closing out her second and final term in office. The main opposition Kuomintang, or KMT, says under Tsai, Taiwan's high-stakes relationship with China has worsened, with Beijing's long-looming threat to invade the country. The KMT's presidential candidate, new Taipei Mayor Hou You-yi, has pledged to up exchanges with Taiwan's powerful neighbor, a strategy many of his supporters cheered for at a major rally in the capital, Taipei.
我们一直很想要，就是要侯友宜当选。我知道这一战很难，但是我觉得我们有信心。
期待就是说他的政见说得到做得到，让我们老百姓或是下一代过得更幸福。
The KMT estimates as many as 80,000 people came out in the winter cold to show their support.
The KMT is the first out of the 3 parties this election cycle to host a rally at the capital's landmark Ketagalan Boulevard. The rain has not stopped people from turning up for the event, which is significant given it is just a street away from the election goal, the presidential office.
This election, a third party is aiming for top office in what's long been seen as a 2-party democracy. The Taiwan People's Party's pick, Ko Wen-je, pointed to his experience as former Taipei mayor, attending multiple Shanghai-Taipei city forums as proof he's fit to steer Taiwan-China relations in a better direction.
他已经证明了柯文哲有能力跟中国相处跟谈判。 赖清德是做不到的，侯友宜是没有经验的。
Arguably, the candidate most familiar with the duties of Taiwan's top office is the DPP's Lai Ching-te. He's the incumbent vice president who just wrapped up his 4-day, 18-city tour around Taiwan. His party pursues a more cautious approach to China, opting to strengthen links with what they call like-minded countries, like the U.S. Despite geopolitical pressures, Lai's vowed that if elected, he'll put the Taiwanese people and their needs first.
赖清德当总统，人民才是老大，人民才是老板。每个认真打拼的台湾人，才是真真正正的台湾英雄。
With 3 different approaches to protecting Taiwan, the parties can't lose steam, with just 2 more weekends to go until the January 13th election day to convince the public their party is the best bet for maintaining peace in the Taiwan Strait. Joseph Wu, Sam Hui, and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
A local NGO plans to subsidize university students so they can travel home to vote in January's national election.
在这所有的路线里面，不管你选择哪一个路线，不管你的起讫地点是哪一个不同的站点，都是最低金额113。
Taiwan has no absentee voting, which means every voter has to go to where their household is registered to cast their ballot. Under the NGO's plan, students from 10 universities will be able to take train journeys on designated routes for just 113 Taiwan dollars, or just over US $3.50. It also applies to ferries and flights to outlying islands. The number 113 was chosen as the election takes place on January 13th. The NGO has so far raised over $20,000, more than its original goal. That will help some 800 students benefit from the scheme. Taiwan's foreign ministry is warning citizens to put off travel to Cuba. That's after some members of a Taiwanese family were denied entry. Cuban officials reportedly said the family couldn't enter because Taiwan and China now have a strained relationship. Cuba has diplomatic ties with China and follows Beijing's One China policy. Despite this, Taiwanese passport holders were previously able to enter Cuba without a visa. Hundreds of people have rallied in Taiwan's capital for better pay and working conditions, marking the end of a 400-kilometer labor rights march across the country. Louise Watt reports.
Sick of chronic low wages and directing their anger at Taiwan's government. 20 labor unions rallied in the capital Taipei, calling for the minimum monthly wage to be raised from the current $850 US.
低薪，这个对劳工来讲是一个最大的痛嘛。你要至少有它的基数，一定要提高到3.5万以上，让劳工的基本生活没有疑虑，而且他能养活至少2个没有薪资的家属。
Amid rising prices, wages in Taiwan have stagnated compared to economic growth. Labour unions also hope for better overtime pay and employer pension contributions, and 7 more public holidays a year. The marchers took their protests to the headquarters of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, which has been in power in Taiwan for almost 8 years. Elections are coming up, and 2 of the presidential candidates have already said they support raising the minimum wage. Vice President Lai Ching-te of the ruling DPP by 4%, and Hou You-yi of the main opposition Kuomintang, or KMT, by a much larger 25%, which would bring it up to around $1,000 US a month. Third-party candidate and former Taipei mayor Ke Wen-je of the Taiwan People's Party says he would reform the country's schools to give young people an education better suited for the workforce, which he says would lead to higher wages. In this once every 4 years election, observers suggest low wages and a lack of affordable housing are big issues for voters, something made clear by protests like this one, and which could sway voters at the polls. Devin Tsai and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Nearly 5 million people in Taiwan are directly affected by laws concerning disability, but they do not necessarily have a say in how those laws are made. Harel Hughes reports.
Trapped by Taiwan's laws. These activists rallied outside the country's legislature, calling for greater representation in government for people with disabilities. An action they say will lead to better laws for the 1.2 million people in Taiwan who have a disability, like Sun Jialiang. He has a form of cerebral palsy, which makes it difficult to move and talk. He relies on a caregiver. But this is a necessity that is becoming increasingly unaffordable. Currently, the government offers subsidies for these services, but only for 2 hours a day. An estimated 5 million people in Taiwan are directly affected by disability laws, but they are not among those who make the decisions.
声音障碍者最了解声音障碍者的困境跟人权的议题，所以呢，我们有句话说，没有障碍者的参与，不要为障碍者做决定。
Rights groups are currently working with existing government bodies, and they're urging political parties to choose candidates with disabilities for legislator-at-large positions. These are seats that are assigned rather than contested.
我要再一次的恳请国民党，也拜托，好不好？那个2004的立法委员，能不能或者真的拜托提名一位身心障碍者？
They hope guaranteed seats in the legislature will lead to more empathy, better decision-making, and a way to remove the chains of current disability laws. Leon Lian and Harel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at these surfing Santas at Cocoa Beach in Florida. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.
I'm Leslie Liao in New York City, and this is TaiwanPlus News, a voice of freedom in Asia.